Hi, this is Mike Berglund. I'm the AVP of ACA Sales for Agility. Today, I want to talk about the federal poverty level chart, and how it affects the ACA subsidies your clients receive. I also want to discuss how it affects cost-sharing reductions where the threshold levels are. Here is the federal poverty guideline chart for 2026. These are income thresholds used to determine eligibility for federal programs like Medicaid. If we look at the chart, it's broken down on the left-hand side by households. So if you have one in your household, it's going to be the top line. A family of four, it's the fourth line down. The 100% of the federal poverty level is for non-Medicaid expansion states. So that is where subsidies start if you're in a state that they do not have Medicaid expansion. If we look at in a household of one, 100% of the federal poverty level is $15,650. This is a crucial number to know. This is where all subsidies and cost sharing start. If your client says they have an income of $15,000, that's not high enough to receive a subsidy. They do have to make the minimum of the federal poverty level in their state. So for a Medicaid expansion state, that's going to be $15,650. Well, what happens if I'm in a Medicaid expansion state? The thresholds move to 138% of the federal poverty level. So if you look the next column over, clients, so they're not in Medicaid, would need to make $21,597. All right, that's well and good, but what does the rest of that chart mean? What's 150% of the federal poverty level? Why do I need to know that? That's one of the thresholds for a cost sharing reduction. So if you're between 100 and 150% of the federal poverty level, you've got the best silver plan you can get. The silver plan is where all the magic happens. That's where all of the changes happen, not only or to the plan to make it more indemnified. It's a stronger plan. So it may change from a $9,000 out of pocket to $1,500 out of pocket based on the person's income. So what happens if I go above 150%? Well, that's a threshold level. So if you make $1 more and you're above 150% of the federal poverty level, you're moving from a 94 actuarial value plan down to an 87 plan. So if your client tells you, hey, I'm going to make $23,500 this next year, do we know for a fact they're going to make that much? Or are they going to make a little bit less? Or are they just rounding up? It's important that they would stay under that 23,475 to be able to maximize that plan. So make sure if they say they're making above that, that's really what they're going to make, and it's not a really rough estimate or they're rounding up. It's very important you stay within that threshold if they want to, for them to get that max plan. The next threshold level is 200% of the federal poverty level. If you go above that, you drop to a 73% actuarial value plan. That means the carrier pays on average 73% of the claims. The member is going to pay the 27% of the rest of the claims. And that's not per person, that's on a whole for the block of business. 250% of the federal poverty level, that's where cost sharing reductions stop. So you're going to go from a silver plan, a 73% AV plan down to 70. It's not a huge drop once you get above 200% of the federal poverty level. And then if you go to 400% of the federal poverty level, that is where all subsidies cease. So if your client tells you they're going to make $62,601, they will not get a subsidy because they've gone beyond the threshold of 400% of the federal poverty level. So to receive some sort of subsidy on a household of one, your client would have to fall between $15,650 up to a maximum of $62,600. And then in a Medicaid expansion state, it's $21,597. So let's take a look at a typical client. The first screen is going to be at the 94 actuarial value. I'm going to put them in exactly at 150% of the federal poverty level. That's $23,475. And then we'll see what happens to their plan if they go $1 more. Their subsidy won't change because it's so close, but their plan changes quite a bit. So let's take a look at this client. This client's age 45 years old. Their income is the top of the 150 AV plan, or 150% of the federal poverty level, which is the 94 AV. So we're at $23,475. Their subsidy is $689. So this is in Miami. It's an Oscar Health plan. It's a silver plan. It's going to cost the client $84.26 a month. Their tax credit 689. It used to be 773.26. So on this plan, it's really strong. It's a 94 AV plan. It's got a $0 deductible, max out of pocket 1750. Then we look down at primary care, $5 per visit from day one, 15 for a specialist. Urgent care is 30 bucks. Emergency room 20%. Outpatient mental health $5. Generic drugs 0, no charge. So let's see if we move it up $1, what happens. So let's remember the subsidy level was 689. Their premium's 84.26. So we're going to go up $1. Now this client 45 is making 23,476. Their subsidy is still the same, 689. Their premium still the same, 84.26. Same tax credit. But let's look at what it did to the plan. It moved them to an 87 actuarial value plan. Their deductible is now $850, where before it was 0. That's a big jump for $1. Out-of-pocket maximum, $3,100. And all of their copays went up. $10 to go to primary care, $40 to go to specialists. Urgent care is $50. Emergency rooms, 40%. Outpatient mental health is now $10 a visit, and generic drugs that were 0 are now $3. So we see if we don't know our chart as an agent, we can really put our clients in harm's way because it is an estimate on income. So if they're off by $1 on what they're estimating, it could really put them in a plan that may not suit them. So always verify income and make sure you know these levels. Have this chart printed out. It's one that I print out every single year and keep on my desk. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, Mike Berglund. My email is mberglund@enrollinsurance.com. Thank you.